Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Friday, September 10th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S., 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 in Hamilton, Bermuda, and in Mexico City, 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. We'll just mention this now. Tomorrow, of course, is September 11th, and in the United States, that's become a solemn day of observance, appropriately, for the terror attacks in Washington, D.C. and in New York City, as well as the crash of the plane in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. A number of ceremonies are scheduled. TV coverage will be holding them live, and of course, there's a whole furor going on in the U.S. now about some proposed burning of Korans in Florida by some individual who seems to be a self-pronounced leader of a small sect, which has now obtained massive media attention simply because there seems to be nothing else to focus on. So it is a day to remember, and we'll note that many people in the insurance and reinsurance industry lost their lives that day, and we remember them and we remember their families. The U.S. wholesale inventories jumped the most in 2 years. The Commerce Department just released that news before we came on the air. All right, we'll go to our main news. In the United States, if you woke up this morning and turned the TV on, here's what you saw. This is a massive Pacific Gas and Electric gas line, 24 inches in diameter, that burst and exploded. Approximately 3 miles away from San Francisco International Airport out in San Francisco. 6 people are dead at least. More than 50 homes have been destroyed. The explosion sent up a fireball 1,000 feet in the air, impacting flight patterns at SFO. The blaze is now under control. It burned all afternoon and all night last night. It left a gigantic crater. At some point this afternoon, after things cool off enough, they're going to go in there with dogs searching for any other bodies that may be there. Pacific Gas and Electric said that as of this point, they're not certain if it's their fault or not, but they're investigating. The governor of California declared a state of emergency in San Mateo County. The governor of California in this case was not Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's in Asia on a trade mission. The acting governor is the Lieutenant Governor, Abel Maldonado. Mr. Maldonado was on the scene. He said it was like a bomb went off here. So we'll track that. There'll undoubtedly be some insurance claims associated with that, and make sure to get that news to you. Here's a picture of Boulder, Colorado, arguably, in the eyes of many, the most beautiful city in the United States, nestled in a small valley high up in the hills of the Rocky. Well, here's a picture of what it might look like by the end of the weekend. The Formile Canyon fire that's destroyed 170 homes so far is showing no signs of letting up, and there are now fears it's going to move right into the heart of Boulder. Wind gusts of more than 40 miles per hour are pushing the flames closer to the city. Officials in Boulder have warned residents to be ready to flee if necessary. Residents are being asked to remove lawn furniture, brush, and get this, propane tanks from their property that could fuel the fire. No kidding, those are like bombs. Authorities also want residents to wet down their yards and vegetation. The governor has authorized over $5 million in state funds to help pay for emergency assistance in fighting the fire, and we'll keep track of that as well. Well, let's look at this one. Here's the picture we didn't have yesterday. That's Igor, all the way over on the east to the right. Now keep an eye on this for a second. It's been downgraded. It lost a little bit of strength yesterday. It's now been downgraded to a tropical depression. However, it's 245 miles west of the Cape Verde Islands, and forecasters are saying that even though it only has 35-mile-an-hour sustained winds, it will strengthen over the next few days and will regain tropical storm strength by Saturday and will become a hurricane late Sunday. Igor is then expected to turn to the northwest early next week, which would direct the storm south of Bermuda and toward the American Atlantic coast. Remember what we said yesterday. The water temperature over which the storm is going to pass is 2 degrees warmer than normal. And already at this time of year is very warm, which is why hurricanes tend to strike in early September. A little bit to the northeast of Johannesburg, the economic hub of South Africa, there was a train accident this morning. 31 people were injured when a passenger train crashed into a cargo train that was stopped in the station east of Johannesburg. Government said that ambulances transported the injured people to different hospitals around Joburg. No serious injuries, miraculously, or no deaths. The train company is investigating the cause of the crash. Well, the U.S. corn crop is going to be 1.5% smaller than forecast a month ago, according to the Agriculture Department, after hot, dry weather in August cut back Midwestern U.S. yields. It's going to be down from about 13.365 billion bushels to 13.16 billion bushels. That's a little bit more than what analysts had expected. Now, you're probably wondering why should you really care about this. Maybe you don't eat corn on the cob, but you probably eat beef, which is fed by corn. And if you have read the book or seen the movie Fast Food Nation, you know, of corn products and ethanol products are included in just about everything you eat. This will have a ripple effect through the economy and as far as increasing costs go. So this is something to be expected. Stock market in New York is up about 35 points right now. We'll go to a word from our sponsor. By the way, the president is conducting a news conference right now, live, in the East Room of the White House. He's talking about the economy. We're monitoring this, and there's no big breaking news associated with that. Now to our sponsors. We're going to stick to the script with this one. This is being reported today by Global Reinsurance. Market sources have revealed that Aon has been asked by Deutsche Bank not to store data about its risks anymore in the broker's international information system, the Global Risk Insight Platform, known by its acronym GRIP. At this stage, only a small number of other companies have apparently made similar demands. Aon confirmed this was the case. Deutsche Bank did not want to comment. The story emerged at a risk management conference in Munich, where about 600 risk and insurance professionals have gathered to discuss issues in the German market. Using the GRIP system, Aon collects information about all types of risks and the insurance offered in various markets. The database offers a detailed overview of market trends, and the broker can then sell this information to industrial insurers for a high fee. The data is passed on anonymously. Insurers can then use the data to do things such as testing their competitors' appetite for certain risks. Allianz, Talanx, AXA, and Zurich are all understood to have been engaged with Aon over the use of this data. Some risk managers are extremely resistant to the idea that Aon's GRIPS information should be sold out to insurers mainly on anti-competitive grounds and antitrust grounds. They believe the information shared between client and broker is confidential and should be treated as such. However, cost pressures on big brokers are so great that they are looking at all possibilities to generate new income. Aon CEO Greg Case, speaking at the conference, defended GRIP. He said the system was, quote, overwhelmingly driven by client needs, end quote, and helped to improve the risk transfer process. But Case added that if any risk manager wanted to remove their data from the system, Aon would do so. In Florida, the California headquartered Explorer Insurance has pulled out of the motor insurance market. Stated that more than 400 of their agents have been instructed that the company will no longer reimburse them for any commissions effective September 7th. That's one way to end writing business, isn't it? Tell your agents that if they're going to sell your product, they're not going to be paid for it. Explorer Insurance entered the Florida market in the year 2000. Last year it took in about $17 million in premiums. Its loss ratio for the year to the end of July was a whopping 124%. The Florida Association of Insurance Agents obviously is upset that Explorer has stopped paying commission to agents before it stopped writing policies. The head of the organization told the Florida Underwriter magazine, quote, you can be assured that the regulator knows these facts and that will probably challenge the fact that if policies renewed during this time, the company is collecting a rate that's improperly filed, assuming they withhold the agent's commission. One of the things that Explorer cited, which was a reason in them pulling out, is that the number of staged car accidents in Florida have increased. In fact, the National Insurance of Crime Bureau indicated that such staged accidents in Florida increased by 58% during the year. The NCIB noted that Florida was particularly vulnerable to fraud because it had the highest rates for bodily injury and personal injury protection of the 12 American states that allow people to be reimbursed without proof of fault. The insurance department said that fraud is not their responsibility, but, quote, we have heard anecdotally from other companies that they've been having trouble with fraud. Well, the insurance department was also making some other news. They began to review and approve or disapprove some of the rate increase applications from a number of people. Royal Palm Insurance Company received approval for an average statewide homeowners increase of about 15%. The insurer had asked for an increase of 21.7%. The state insurance department said the approval will affect homeowners in certain counties differently, with increases ranging from as low as 7.6% up to 20%. Also, Allstate's Castle Key Insurance Company was granted an 18.7% rate increase, and Castle Key Indemnity Company got a 17.8%. The two Allstate subs had been looking for increases of 33.3% and 17.9% respectively. Also yesterday, the insurance department held a rate hearing for the state-run Citizens Property Insurance Corporation. Citizens Property is proposing statewide average increases from 6.1% to 10.9%. They're the insurer of last resort in Florida.